Live streaming simple scripts now. I guess I could bring this up here. Just started live streaming simple scripts. Working on the SDK internals. Come hang out and ask questions. Happy to help. Alrighty. So over the weekend, I've been working on how Simple Scripts sets itself up, meaning that if you were to clone the Simple Scripts repo, like what would happen next before you could actually run a script? Or if you install the app, how does the app set itself up so that you can start running scripts? And the idea that so far there's always been a directory kind of nested inside of the Simple Scripts project that that looks like this. It would have like the app, CLI, node, preload, and all that sort of stuff inside the Simple Scripts directory that you set up. But what I'm doing is I'm extracting all of these like tools, and node is like the script runner and the CLI tools for like everything as far as creating new scripts, editing scripts, duplicating scripts, settings, interacting with the app itself, all that. And the node modules, GitHub workflows, all that sort of stuff. I'm extracting into this SDK so that what you can do now, this is what a simple script directory would look like. I think I'm going to rename this to app instead of tray. But so now the SDK would live in a symlinked directory, which is somewhere else on your machine. So that if I just rmrf the simple directory, then if I want to set up a new simple directory, it would look something like this. I'm just going to autocomplete this out, where you set the simple path environment variable, which can be anywhere on your computer. And in the SDK, which you've cloned, there's a script called simple, which can run the node module tools. So for example, let's do the create. This one would have to run first, the create directories. So now this, remember I just RMRF'd this, so rimwrapped if you want to say it that way. This created all these directories. So it set it up so that everything's almost ready. The SDK is symlinked. It has a bunch of empty directories for where your logs and database and cache and everything will live. So I'd run that script, and then it would run, whoops. It would run create dirs, and I think probably create env would happen next. Because then it needs to set up this file so that scripts, when they're running here, would look to this to find out where the SDK is. And so it doesn't have to rely on this simple script from the SDK. It can do it from like outside the SDK and look and find the SDK. So from there, the other one is that so that we have access to like running new and edit and just the simple CLI, we'd also need to run the simple path. And this one is, it's like create, I thought it was create bins, create CLI bins. And this one creates these three files. And as you can see, this is like the heart of Simple itself, is that it configures where your node modules live. It configures where a .env file lives. It configures where the node, which is included or installed and bundled with the Simple SDK is. And then it requires like all the helpers before running your script itself. So there's the node executable, and that's here's some command line flags which preload these. .env config is a node module which can be required this way. So this actually looks inside of not a file living in this directory, but in the symlink directory. There's a node modules and a .env right here. So that's finding that. And then these preload scripts are also in the SDK, as you can see by the path to the SDK right there. And those are in preload. And these have all the like the global API things for like copying and pasting and reading and writing to your little database files and doing any sort of copy and create directories and all that sort of stuff. And then there's also the simple stuff as far as using scripts to run other scripts or using scripts to create arguments. That's kind of contained in this file. I think about this file a lot and how I can improve it. But it's mostly that simple and the args, which is a big part, like that, the idea of lazy args and lazy environment variables. And then these tools get used, well, they get used more internally, but they're used quite a bit. And this inspect one, I think it's something I came up with recently, but I think I'll start using it a lot more, where after you run a script and you want to see like the JSON output, inspect will create a file that has that output and that launches it just in your code editor, so that like after you like run a GET request, it would just open it in your editor, so you can like inspect what the GET request gave you, and then like copy and paste the result, or search the result, or do whatever you want with the result, because it's just going to create a new file based on what the script was named, because it can like it's aware of the script name, and then it just drops it in your temp directory, and then launches that file. So it can do that all in just like inspect and then like a result of a script, which is I thought I was going to do that in like a debugger window, but I think it makes more sense to just like fire open your code editor and inspect the results of some scripts. So what I'm trying to do right now is make this all into one simple setup script, meaning that after you either install the app or clone the repo, that all this stuff just fires off and then Simple is ready to run. So far this was done quite a bit differently, but it was like the SDK was nested inside of it, and I'm extracting that out. So I think I really want this one named app. I think that makes more sense when I create the DIRs that tray is named app. Oops. Because app is like where, so if I do the create DIRs, whoops. You can see, let's see, now it'll be app, and it'll have like the left click, right click. I think that makes more sense for someone who's like opening the project and they're like, how could I control what happens when you left click and right click? And I wanted to get this, like the big goal of what I did over the weekend is to get all of this stuff, like this simple directory, out of version control, so that you can version your own scripts, and that you can modify things like the, like people ask a lot, how do I open and launch the app? It's defined right here as just command semicolon. Now you can come in here and change this, and that won't impact the SDK itself because it's living outside of the SDK now. And in fact, you could have this run any command by left clicking. Like that, what I can't change is that when you like the icons, the app's not running right now because extracting things has broken some of the paths and stuff. But like all of these, when the tray is up in the corner, you'll be able to click on it, and you can define what happens when you alt click or command click or right click or any of this stuff. You can, like right now, it just says alt click or command click, but you could change that to whatever and not have to worry about any sort of like impact on versioning, because this will be your own version of it. Anywho, so like the end goal of all this work is right now it's weird when Simple's not running because I'm getting more and more used to like running my own scripts, but right now because I'm working on it, I can't run it, and so I have to like do things manually, which gets kind of funny. Because if I want to open the let's see, like you can see in the app, the end goal of what I'll get to is, where's the, it's in the main, there it is. So the end goal of what I get to is, before it was just checking out or cloning simple scripts to wherever the path was defined. And then the two big things are cloning the repo and then grabbing a version of Node to drop in the repo. And this was important because as Simple, the app, becomes more like multi-platform, right now it's hard-coded to Mac, which is Darwin-based. That's the name Node uses to identify Mac. I'll be able to detect whatever platform someone's on when they're installing Simple. I can already do that. I should probably pull that out, but and then once this is multi-platform, then like it just needs, I can't bundle Node with it, because in the future, like if someone on Windows is installing it and I bundle Node from Mac, it's not going to run, like that sort of stuff. So yeah, I would clone, install Node, and then it needs to install the npm packages, like the simple ones, like the shell.js, and the few that it kind of ships with or is bundled with. I'm trying to keep that as minimal as possible so that the scripts run as fast as possible, but still have like helpers and batteries included. And before, like I had these bash scripts before that ran, but I turned these into like simple scripts. Like this used to be based on, so the end goal would be to remove these and to turn that back into simple scripts. So what I need to do is like combine all these into a single script. I think I can do that with like, or like setup simpler, something like that. And these are all, this will be running through Simple, so I'm pretty sure I can just, I'm going to try it this way. Let's see. This is the SDK. So my SDK helper only does the path, though. But the simple tool, simple script from path. So I'll need to like create a helper like this, like a something that can run SDK scripts. Let's see. Simple path. Probably call this one SDK path. And that makes sense. They're essentially the same function with a different, I could like curry that and pass one in, but I'm not going to worry about that. And let's set up. This is really much simpler than it looks. I'm going to do it this way right now. Okay, let me see what I want this to look like. So I want this to look like SDK. I want it to look like SDK Setup, create ders, and create environment variables for the end file, and then create CLI bins. So this can just run like in those 3 steps. So this is going to essentially import and require those scripts and run them. And we'll see, like this is how I want it to work. We'll have to figure that out though. So let's pull in simple script path. And simple script from path is this one. There's a bit of duplication here, which I can look into removing once I have it set up. So this would be simple SDK, and this would not happen. Because there wouldn't be a scripts folder like the simple script. You can use simple and refer to a script inside of your scripts folder without using scripts in front of it. So let's see, path, it's replacing JS return, path, let's see, and then in the SDK, it's going to, this is SDA script from path, and they can take args as well. There's probably scenarios where that will come up, so I'm going to leave that in, even though it kind of gets into the arg system of simple itself. I'll need a. It's not going to run at this one either. So let's do that. Simple script path. It's one of those things where in here, do I want to include .js at the end or not? That's kind of what these lines talk about. And they do include a slash. But I'm just going to need to include the .js anyway. I call these all SDK script path. And let's see. And like this is a cache buster thing, which I probably won't have to worry about, but I'm going to leave that in anyway. And I've been trying to figure out the best way to like catch errors of scripts that are imported that have like syntax errors in them. I don't know if you ever tried to require or import a script that had a syntax error in it. The error is just not helpful at all. So I'm trying to figure out like if I try to import it and it fails, then maybe I could try to just run the script by itself and then see what the actual error is. But I haven't quite figured out the best approach to that yet. All right, let's see what we got here. So if I simple path, and this one will be the setup simpler. Yeah, so it's erroring out and importing those as I imagined would happen. So the SDK, let's see. I'm gonna name these. Yeah, I don't want to do that. That's for a different part of the system. And I don't think I want to do, well, maybe. I'll leave that in. Let's see what the SDK, SDK script path. Let's see what the, whoops, that's not right. I can see why that didn't work. Okay, so in simple, this is the simple script path. And that's here and there and there. Inside the SDK, this is the SDK script path. And we want to see what the SDK script path, well, we'll just do that trick where put it inside of an object. And okay, so the problem here is that it's trying to access setup from inside of the simple directory, and that should be inside of the SDK directory. So SDK, that's not simple path, it should be SDK path. And then that should give me the right file, which I'm importing. Okay, copy no such file or directory. Source does not exist. So it looks like it made the first couple. So yeah, it didn't copy over the app. It made the directories properly. So it made it through the first step of create dirs. Then if it made it through create env, doesn't look like it did. So it only made it through the create dirs script. So I have to see what's happening with create env. That is failing. Okay, so this would be SDK path now. I think there's a lot of things I used this for, which I should have used SDK path for when I was refactoring over the weekend. The difference is like SDK should actually run the script or like try and import and run it, whereas the SDK path would just like grab the path to it. So these are all run it. That is a run it. This is a read file, so this would be a path. This one, yeah, that wants to run it. I'm gonna have to go back and test, like, I do have some tests written around this for the CI, but because I'm changing a bunch of paths, I'll have to work on those as well. This would obviously be a path since it's a path right there. That's correct. Let me check these off as I go through them. That's right. We want to run the terminal. We want to run create bin. We want to get the path to the templates. And we want to run create bin. We want to run create bin. We want to run scripts info. We want to run that script from the simple CLI. We want to run the, yeah, we definitely need the args in there. The new script there from the tutorial. We want to run the editor on Mac. I think I put this into apps. I'll need to look into that. But I'll check that off for now. And this one's a path. So that's SDK path. And these are all SDK path. And this one we want to run set nbar. This one we want the path to the templates. Create dir. This is definitely path. This is definitely path. And that looks good. That's the script we're working on now. Run. Yep. These are the test scripts, which actually, like, it's simple running itself to run its own tests, which gets kind of interesting on the SDK or on the CI, where it's kind of installs itself and then it runs itself to test itself, like super meta dog food. Or dog inception. Let's see, run, and run. Okay. So with that all being said, actually let's RMR simple and try this again. So this would be like the main script. And if that all worked out, all right, so all the directories are there. So that was the create dirs. The .env file is there. So that created this file. And then it copied over this file. So you can see that from here it did create directories, create env, create CLI bins. So this one was, creating those directories, copying over the app file, and symlinking the SDK. So you can see, like, you can create multiple versions of, or multiple, I don't know, instances is the right word, but directories which reference the SDK, and they can all symlink to the same SDK. Because I really want people to be able to have, like, quick access to the SDK, so they know that they can, like, look into. Actually, that makes me think I should put this app folder into, like, the setup directory, so they don't think it's something that, yeah. Hello. So yeah, apps terminal. I think I need to look into that. Mac editor, apps editor. Is that the only one I had? SDK. This is where I kind of landed on the SDK for, like, as Simple Scripts itself supports more tools like Chrome and editors and terminals and stuff. I could add more things in here that kind of bundle with it that you could install or import yourself. I was thinking about whether that should be a plugin system or just, like, PRs to the main repo. And for now, it's going to be just PRs to the main repo. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to move in the SDK. I'm going to move this to setup. Yeah. And that means that in my create ders, that this will have to be setup app. And let's make sure I don't need to log that out. Where's simple here? Oh, whoops, wrong simple. What happened there? Alrighty, so Sdk, we don't need to log this out right now. And then from here, if I do that and set it up again, and then open it up again, then, all right. So we got the directories, we got end, we got app copied over from the setup app directory, and everything's symlinked. And the bin files created, which means that we should be able to create a new testing SDK script. Okay, so cannot find module, simple, CLI new. Okay, so let's check on that. I'm gonna close all of these. Close all of these. All right, so the error was cannot find module, CLI new. Oh, it probably created the yeah, this wasn't created correctly. I think I may have to use a different template for this. I think in this one, let's call this one CLI bin template. Whoops. And then this one can be script bin template. No, let's put that in a folder. CLI template, and this one's a script template. Organize this a little bit, and template.env, I guess. And then these can be probably all of these. I think that feels a bit better. Yeah. So many decisions to make. So this isn't simple path anymore. This is simple SDK. Node path.env, that's still right. And that's still right. So it's really just this that changed, because when I use this, I want this to refer to where the CLI tools are. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking how like the bin directory on your path is pointing to the .simple bin, and I don't want to put that in a SDK bin. Yeah, that'll work. So in here, SDK path templates. And this would be scripts. And create bin. Yeah, there's gonna have to be like a create. I might have to take an argument. Let's look at that script. You know, I could just pass a flag into the like right here. That's the output, not there. Yeah, right here where it grabs the template. If when I pass in the environment variables, there's the there's this, which could be like a target path or something. And I could pass in a flag. It's kind of that choice of whether do I want 2 templates and 2 scripts, or do I want 1 script with 2 with an argument flag with 1 template. It's one of those decisions. I think I'll stick it with, like, there's so much duplication and it's just that one thing. So let's go back to 1 template. Just gonna name this template. And this can be a target path. And then when I call create bin, let's see. Script path name. And that's templates bin template. And it's right here where you pass in the environment variables when it's compiled. So it's the target path, which needs to be, let's set it up here. And that will need to be, I guess, just an argument. How do I want to do that? Because it's like 99% of the time it's just the scripts. It's only that first time you run it that's the CLI tools. Let's do it that option. So we'll just do target path is, there's a way to do just options on args. Let's see, if CLI is true, then we'll have it be n. Well, we'll just do simple SDK path. Oops. Otherwise, simple path. And then when I call this, and I invoke bin compiler. I'll have to do it there as well. Well, actually, this is the only time where, so this would be target path, SDK path. Because this is really the only time where you create the CLI scripts. So we could remove this argument and just have this be target path is simple path. And that should... Let's try that again. Okay, error importing that time. Did create the directories properly? Let's check on it. So created the directories, but then it failed on create end. Did the symlink, didn't create the bin files. Okay. Oh yeah, this is now in templates, and template.env. And then I think the create CLI bins may have just failed because the previous one failed. And I think as soon as like one import fails, the rest of them just can't work. So let's try this again. I think I'm to the point where I just want to do this rf.simple and because I'm just like destroying a directory and recreating it to see, make sure everything's working. Okay, so it looks like it made it through the, okay, it created the end file. And this looks correct there. That's all correct. And then it failed on the create bins. Okay. So template's bin template. That's right, isn't it? Template's bin template. There's a target path in there. Okay. Templates, oh, there it is. Bin template. That should clean that up. So now if we open simple, okay, so edit new and simple all got generated. This is pointing to the SDK, that's right. This is pointing to your folder that you pick. This is the SDK, that's correct. All of those are correct, and that's correct. So let's try a new testing SDK. That's working. That worked. Console log. Hello. Try and run testing SDK. Okay. We'll do a what is your name? Name, and then console log. Hello name. This is kind of like the hello script. The wait is only valid. Okay. Is that from this? It shouldn't be from this one. Interesting. Oh, maybe I need a package JSON in there. Or a flag, because Simple Scripts was, like, the SDK was living in the same directory before. And in the SDK, you can see in the package that the type is defined as module. So I think there's a flag I can pass to Node for that. Let me just make sure that that is. So if I create a new file in here called package JSON. Whoops, not JSON. Package JSON. That just has type module in it. Yeah. So I think that's all that it needs is and I don't want that a package JSON just for that. Time to Google some node flags. Node flag form type module. It's not experimental anymore. Strings passed in with the flag input type. On the nearest package JSON, yeah, that's what we want to avoid. I don't think this counts as input type, but we can try it. So this would be this here. This is just a new line break, so all of this doesn't have to be on the same line, since it's a fairly long command. Interesting. Let's put it up here. Cannot find module. Why is that? Trying to pass it in as a require. Yeah, I just don't think that's an input type. Yeah, it's not being piped in, so wasn't thinking about this when I was extracting the SDK about how the files referenced the package JSON of the SDK. Let's just try node help. Oh, it's not. I'm running the wrong version of Node. Because that's just to show how, like, this is my local version, or just the version on my path right now is 12. But from the SDK, if you run node, bin node, that's version, like, I installed just the very latest version, so we'll do help on this and grep for module. All right, so the flags are a bit different. I don't see anything, unfortunately. It seems strange that you couldn't pass in a flag to node for that. If you've never seen like the sheer amount of node flags, it's quite intimidating. It makes me wonder all the various things people use Node for that I'm not aware of, because someone who has to use the huge max old generation size, that's someone I'd like to talk to, you know. I'm curious what this is all about. Select extension resolution algorithm for ES modules. Either explicit or node. Yeah, that. We want module type, not the. I think that has to do with, like, you know how sometimes a directory can have an index.js file in it, and you can reference that when you do your imports by just the directory name. You don't have to do /index. I'm pretty sure that's what that's talking about. Since node, you have to do that full path and stuff. I mean, I'm not totally opposed to that package JSON with the module in it, but it just kind of looks silly. Grep for type. Disable object prototype. Node CLI flag for module type. Yeah, that's deprecated. I'm not going to use a deprecated flag. I'm not going to pass my files in as a string. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. Preserve symlinks, interesting. It's always funny which flags have like a few paragraphs of documentation versus some of them just have one or two, even though they're tiny flags that nobody uses. I've definitely run into this one. Like I had to do all my preload scripts in CommonJS because you can't preload ESM scripts. Maybe there's an environment variable I can set. I highly doubt it. Oh, and maybe node options. I always forget about this one. Node options that allow, please have type module. Scrolling down, scrolling down. Where's type? Come on. I'm gonna try it just for kicks. Node options. Type. Module. Oops, that's not the right file. Shouldn't touch the template. I was in the testing. Oh, that's the SDK. That's why that's not in the right place. I was in this one. Node options and type and expand selection did not work. Module. All right, you know you want to work, don't you? Testing SDK. Nope. That's too bad. Now let's just not give up too quick. Maybe it could be that. Highly doubtful. Yeah, didn't think so. Whoopsies. Input type, input type. Yeah, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of references to type. That's a bummer. So I guess I have to in here create a package JSON that just has a type. Whoops. A type of module. What a file. That is. That stinks. Why is there not a flag for that? How come they did not guess about my use case? Node set type module flag from CLI. Maybe. No. Okay. This is deprecated. Curious if I know it's deprecated. I'm curious if it still works. This would be experimental modules. Is that what it said? I guess I could name the files, the scripts to MJS. That's one of those things I don't know the JavaScript community would like that. Like, even though that's what they landed on. But maybe like to encourage the adoption of the MJS extension. Yeah, that didn't work. Would have been, make sure I typed that right. Looks like it. Because if this is MJS and this is MJS, that works. And then I can avoid a package JSON, but then all the scripts have to be MJS files. And is that confusing or is that normal? Is that confusing or is that normal? That's a... Has anyone in the chat ever used the MJS extension? Like, would you be offended by .mjs? Or would you rather have a type module in a package JSON and do .js? Like, people are so used to compiling and using transpilers that, and like this isn't doing any transpilation. I mean, it's... so I'm extracting today, I'm extracting the SDK. I can show it in action real quick. So if you see, so right now I don't have a .simple directory, but I've extracted the core, so that's the deleted directory. I've extracted the core of everything into a separate directory, which can live as the the thing that drives simple scripts. And you can clone this repo and create new directories that can access the SDK. So I exported or extracted this so that it runs these scripts, and one of them is setup simple directories. So that if I go back into simple, so I deleted everything in the scripts, and this reset up an entire simple directory. So that SDK lives in this directory. There's a blank. All of these are blank, and they're not under version control. So that you can version control your own scripts file and not worry about what's going on in here. I wouldn't expect anyone to version control bin or cache or DB, but I would expect lots of people to want to put this under Git. So that means that these two directories can live separately, but also that you can notice how there's a simple path environment variable pointing to this. I could have this be like another simple, and then if I open another simple, you can see I have another instance of it, pretty much. But they're both pointing to the same SDK, meaning that it makes it way more flexible as far as the SDK doesn't live inside of it. This is just, this arrow means it's symlinked to the SDK, and they're both accessing the same SDK. So the SDK can be versioned separately from these various projects. And this will just make it way nicer for people versioning their scripts, sharing scripts. And I think it just really cleans up what's going on here. The downside of what I run into so far, I'm gonna remove that, another simple. The downside is because in the SDK, there's a package JSON which defines the type of module. I'm not able to, like, in here, if I open up the simple directory right now, I wanted to keep this without a package.json so people didn't think they were installing Node modules in here. But if I try and create a new script, just call it testing SDK, from there, if I try and run, so await arg, what is your name? And this can be name, and then console log, hi, name, you know, like the hello world sort of script. I get this because in this directory, when you run node inside of a directory, it's checking to see in here where the closest package, whoops, not in the scripts directory, where the closest package JSON, package, if I can spell, it's expecting to see this. And if I put that in, then it works. Which is, like, I don't want that package JSON there just for this. I don't want people to, like, try and install node modules in here. Maybe there's a flag to point to the package JSON of the SDK. Like, have you ever used the MJS extension? I was curious about this, because if I use this, if I use MJS, and in here, I tell this to run the MJS, then I don't need to put type module, because Node, when you put in an MJS file, interprets that as a ESM or a module type of file. So you don't have to explicitly say that in the package JSON. But I don't think the community has adopted MJS. Like, I know I hadn't written any MJS directory or files before. Like, everyone just uses transpilers, and this isn't doing any transpilation. It's just all throwing scripts against Node. So I was kind of curious if people had used MJS, but I just don't think so. Is there a way to point to a specific package JSON? Node point to package JSON in another directory, something like that. Prefix. Interesting. Node prefix. Maybe this will fix it. Let's just try it out for funsies. This would be not in the SDK, but in here. If I say the prefix, I wonder if it has to be a string or what it is. It's like this. Package JSON. Bad option prefix. I disagree. I think it's a good option. Well, that's npm prefix, not node prefix. Also, if node specify type module maybe. Oh. Yeah, if you avoid the package JSON, you have to use MJS. That's just a rule of Node. There's no flag or anything that you can, which I think is weird, that you can pass in a setting to package your package JSON, but you can't set a flag on the command line. So you would have to hit MJS. But again, I don't think the community uses that. Like I was intentionally avoiding that before, so. Node treats JavaScript code as CommonJS by default. You can say this by MJS file extension, package JSON type field. Whoops. The nearest parent package JSON is defined as the first package JSON found when searching the current folder. Yeah, I know this stuff. I know. Subpath imports. I've never used a subpath import, I know that much. Oh, does this have to do with, I think I've used this in TypeScript before. Yeah, okay. It said the nearest. That'd have to be a parent directory. Like, I don't think I could do. I don't think I could do hidden package JSON type module. Oh, oops. Really? Is that just cached or something? Okay, why is that working right now? Oh, it's because it's MJS, that's why. Yeah, that await is only valid in the async functions in the top level bodies. I mean, there's like some weird hacks where we might be able to like, I don't want to like symlink a bunch of MJS files to JS files. So they'd be like shadow files just to get around this. Like, I'm not totally against that, but that just seems weird. Like, as long as this says MJS, How could I trick Node? It's so bizarre to me that there's no flag, but the file extension is read in. It kind of grinds my gears a bit. It's like the that's essentially what these are. Every time you create a new script, it generates two files. It generates this file. So if I say new live demo, you'll see it generated this file and it generates this file. So when you run live demo from here, it's actually running this file, but it's pointing to that other script that was generated. So it's passing in all these arguments as far as essentially saying, use the SDK, use the environment variables that you've saved, use the node version from the SDK, include all of the helper functions in the SDK, and then pass remaining arguments to the script. So yes, this is a wrapper file around that script. And it's whether or not there's an M right there that determines whether or not you can use await at the top level. I really don't want to like symlink every file. That seems silly. I mean, I could like symlink it at the top and then remove the symlink at when the script is done. Oh, you know what? I'm not creating the temp directory. Well, before I forget, let me make sure I include that. That's better. Let me make sure that's working. Where's my long? There it is. Okay, so simple. Just deleted all of the scripts because it set up everything again. There's the temp directory. Okay, good. And then new live demo should work. Use code. Perfect. Okay. Tell Node it has MJS file, but actually point to a different file. Symlink tricks. Maybe someone has like a link file. Let's see if anyone has like some weird ideas. Bash temporary symlink. you know, that's another option. It was like, take the JavaScript file, make a copy of it into like a temp directory, name that one MJS, and like there's just so many, there are a ton of workarounds. To me, like those all add overhead to actually running the script because it would run each time you try and run the script, so I don't want to do that. Oh yeah, before the refactor, the SDK lived at the root of the project. But that conflicted with like versioning your scripts folder, so I kind of bundled everything up into an SDK because the SDK has a package.json. But I definitely want to keep all of that stuff hidden in the SDK. Like these dependencies and everything are SDK dependencies. They're not like your specific dependencies. Yeah. Just can't believe there's not a flag. Or that I can't like manually point to a package.json for Node. Hard code path to because there's like the there's the node path, but that's to the node modules directory. Let me make sure I'm understanding that right. Node path. That's not helpful. Since the module lookups using node modules are all relative and based on the real path of files. Yeah, so that's how we're using it. Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know that Node searched your .node modules in your home directory. Good old documentation. Strongly encouraged not to do that. I'm curious what percentage of developers who've used Node have actually opened the Node docs. I just kind of expect my tools to handle it all for me. I'm only reading them because I'm writing a tool that, you know, does this stuff. Is there no search button on this? I just want to search the entire docs. View on single page. Ooh, there we go. Yeah. Package.json. There's no package JSON file present in the directory, or if the main entry is missing, node will attempt to load an index or index node out of the directory. Some really interesting things like we could do as far as piping stuff into standard in with simple scripts, but that's like distant future. It's really interesting, like building simple scripts as far as like using Node as a scripting platform, but Node feels like it's being built for like the app platforms, or at least the package JSON and kind of like the nature of these projects all feel like everything's targeted towards apps. When it's like JavaScript has script right in the name of it. Hmm. Custom user conditions can be added with a conditions flag? I didn't know that. Oh, that sounds like fun. I like little challenges like that where it's converting between file formats, or like pushing a type of file to a different platform. It's my huge water bottle. This isn't looking promising, unfortunately. Yeah, cool. I love writing scripts like that make life easier. That's what simple scripts is all about. Node type module flag. Yeah, that's the, excuse me. The problem with a lot of this stuff is the experimental modules is like all of the Google results talk about that. Yeah, all the major refactoring should be done by the end of the week. So I want to get it like solid 1.0 out on Monday. Like right now, I don't think if I launch the app, I don't think anything would work because of the path changes that I've done inside of the SDK. That's kind of my next step. I need to go through and make sure all the, like I think the CLI works. Simple. I want to edit a live demo script. Yeah, I guess it's, let's see, clear cache, npm install. I guess a lot of it is probably solid. But yeah, this, I'm kind of scared to push. If you look at the changes in Git, there are quite a few because of moving files around. Like they're all very minor changes and renames and stuff. But yeah, it's a refactor. I mean, it's a big one. I really don't want to commit package JSON file with just type module. I think I may have to. Somebody save me. I mean, it's such a small file that, like, I wish you could target a package JSON. Then I could just do like, you know, package JSON is just like a small file that gets loaded in the command line. It's so small. Let's see, node. Let me look through the environment variables again, but this time with a, that's not node variables. I know about environment variables. Node options. Let's see. Environment variables. No debug native, no disable colors, node options, node path. What's this one say? Yeah, there's a bunch of like little hacks where you could like create a file temporarily, whether it's the MJS file or the JSON file or symlinking, or like those have all been running through my mind as that solves the problem. But I think it also like adds just a tiny bit of overhead to running the script. And I've been trying to avoid, like, all the libraries are loaded lazily, and I'm trying to make everything as, like, try to have a performance mindset up front so that if people take these scripts, eventually, like these scripts should be able to like run on the server or through webhooks or whatever, and you should still be able to just create them using simple scripts and just trying to avoid any overhead, or at least as much as possible, even if it's just, you know, a few milliseconds or whatever. But node v8 coverage dir. I swear node option should have something in there. But that's just the command line options. I will need to look into this as far as like attaching VS Code as a debugger to scripts. That's something I need to investigate fairly soon, at least. And node options is just the same flags you can pass in. That's working. Whoops, that one. Yeah. I like how they picked that up. There's a few things I did a long time ago when, or as in a few months ago when I did started on simple scripts, like, I didn't find this file you typed to edit. Would you like to edit this one instead? And sometimes when I haven't used that in a while and that feature pops up, it just kind of makes me smile as far as, oh yeah, I thought of that scenario. Name. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna. I'm just curious if I run this from here. Yeah, it's where you run the script from. What if there's like a trick of how the script is referenced? Like something stupid like this. There's no way that works. I'm really reaching. Really reaching at this point. Cannot find module. What could I do there? I always forget, it's a source file and the symbolic link. Just to dash s. Whoops. And this is the source. No such file. Oh, whoops. Huh. How did that know? Is that preserve symlinks option? I'm just doing this out of pure, I just want to see if it works. That's all. And I guess it does. Or maybe that's considered the main file because it's the one. Yeah. So preserve symlinks main. If I create a symlink here, that's so dumb though. So dumb. Is there like an in-memory symlink where it wouldn't actually symlink the file there? I guess it could live in temp where it would do, this would be the source, and this could be where it runs it. And then it's going to run it from temp. That way this could be gone. Whoops. Oh, that shouldn't be there. Such file or directory source, demo.js. Oh, that's list. Whoops, my bad. And then remove this. Oops. Something like that. Oh, that feels so wrong. But it just works and it avoids the package JSON thing. Yeah, if I really don't want to do that.
Don't cry. Talk to me.
All right, I'm going to just create that package JSON file and suck it up. No one's going to really care as much as I do. So in the SDK, I'll need to create like package JSON file just to copy over. And then when let's close everything here. Then when I create the directories, I want to copy over setup package JSON to simple path. So let me try my remove code simple. There's the package JSON. All the scripts are gone. I can do new live demo. I can edit it with code. I can await an arg name. Say name. Console log name and live demo. Type John. Yeah, that just works. Good enough. All right, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna commit all this stuff later tonight, and then work on getting the app back and integrated with all of this. So if you're around, thanks for watching. I'll be back on tomorrow afternoon. Same simple scripts time, same simple